Objective 3. Add two real numbers with the same sign. The procedure. To add two real numbers with the same sign, first you ignore the sign of the number. Number 2, add the two numbers together. And number 3, the sign of your final answer will be the sign that the two numbers share. So in example A, it says find the sum by hand, -7 plus -5. So that's basically saying that we're adding two negative numbers. Or if we lose $7 plus we lose $5, then how many dollars did we lose in total? Well, that's -12. Over here in part B, we have -0.13 plus -2.6. So that means if I lose 0.13 and I'm losing 2.6, that means total I'm going to be losing -2.73. So I'm adding them together and keeping the sign. And next, in part C, we have -3/8 plus -5/6. So we're adding two of the same signs together. So we first need to find a common denominator, which is the common denominator between 8 and 6 is 24. So that means we need to multiply -3/8 by 3/3 and multiply -5/6 by 4/4. So 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 8 is 24, so we have -9/24. Plus, we have 5 times 4, which is 20, and 6 times 4 is 24, but that's -20/24. Now, since they are the same sign, then we need to add them together. So -9 plus -20 is -29/24. Objective 4. Add two real numbers with different signs. The procedure. To add two real numbers with different signs. Number 1, ignore the signs of the number. Number 2, subtract the two numbers together, big minus small. And then number 3, the sign of your final answer will be the sign of the bigger number. So in part A, we have -8 plus 11. So they're opposite signs. So 11 minus 8 is 3. And the bigger number is 11, so therefore it's a +3. Part B, -9 plus 5. Subtract 9 minus 5, which is 4, but you have more negatives than you have positives, so therefore it's -4. Part C, we have 7 plus -3. Subtract 3 from 7 to get 4, and the bigger number is 7, so therefore the sign is positive. 25 plus -25. We're going to take 25 and subtract 25, which gives us 0. And remember that 0 is neither negative nor positive. Next question, we have 3/4 plus -5/6. Before we can do anything, we need to find a common denominator so we can compare the fractions a little easier. The common denominator between 6 and 4 is 12. So we need to multiply 3/4 times 3/3. So 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 4 is 12. So we get 9/12. Plus, over here, we need to multiply the numerator and denominator by 2. So 5 times 2 is 10, 6 times 2 is 12, so that's -10/12. Now that we have a common denominator, then we can subtract. So the bigger fraction is 10/12, and we're going to subtract 9/12 to get 1/12. And since this is the bigger fraction, we take the sign of the bigger fraction, so the answer is -1/12. The next example, we have -3/8 plus 5/7. Well, the LCD is 56, so we're going to multiply -3/8 by 7/7 and multiply 5/7 by 8/8. So 3 times 7 is 21, 8 times 7 is 56, so we have -21/56. 5 times 8 is 40, 7 times 8 is 56, and now we can subtract. So we have the bigger fraction, 40/56, minus 21/56, which gives us 29/56. And since the bigger fraction is positive, our answer is positive. Next, we have -3.56 plus 0.13. We're going to subtract these two numbers to get -3.43. And the reason why it's negative is because this is the bigger number and it has the negative sign. Next, we have -1.3 plus 20.16. So here, we're going to subtract these two numbers. So 20.16 minus 1.30 gives us 18.86. And the bigger number is positive, so the answer is going to be positive. Okay, now we want to be able to use the calculator to find a sum, so you want to practice using your calculator. So let's round the results to 2 decimal places. So here we have, and make sure that when you're on a calculator, you're either going to have a minus sign or a negative sign. If you use the minus sign for the negative, it's not going to work. So you got to make sure that you're choosing the negative sign. So you have the negative, and we have negative 384.395, and then we're going to subtract, sorry, not subtract, we're going to add 63.69. So 63.69, and that gives us negative 320.71 because we're rounding it to 2 decimal places. In part B, again, we have a negative sign, so we have negative 85.48, and then it says plus, and then we have our parenthesis. Again, we're using our negative sign, 56.386, and then close the parentheses. So let's go ahead and do that, and we get, again, we're rounding it to 2 decimal places, so it's going to be negative 141.87, so we're rounding up. This goes from 6 and we round it up to 7. Next one, we have 2 fractions. So remember, we're going to use parentheses and then use your negative sign, and then we have 83 divided by 485, and then close the parentheses. And then we're going to use the plus sign, and then we're going to use the parentheses again, and then we're going to use the negative sign, and that's 36 divided by 538, and then close the parentheses, and then hit enter. Now, we want to make sure that we round it to 2 decimal places, so we have the negative sign, so it's negative 0. Rounding that second decimal place up because of the 8 becomes negative 0.24. In part D, we have 2 fractions. So again, let's go ahead and do that. So we got our parenthesis, make sure you use the negative sign, and that's 34 divided by 57, close the parentheses, and then plus, we have, again, our left parenthesis, and then use our negative sign, and then 68 divided by 384, and close the parentheses. And so we hit enter, and round to do 2 decimal places gives us negative 0.77.